There were scenes of celebration and relief at St James's Park as Newcastle United won late on thanks to a strike from their captain Bruno Guimarães against a determined Fulham team who had caused the Magpies several problems throughout what was nearly a very frustrating afternoon on Tyneside.
That frustration was soon vanquished when Newcastle's man for all occasions, Bruno Guimarães, popped up to put home a rebound from William Osula's initial shot, which Bernd Leno had saved. Newcastle had endured difficult moments against Fulham and were often sloppy in possession, but after the first half they could and maybe should have been further than one goal ahead. And that made Fulham's equaliser in the second half all the more infuriating from a black and white perspective. However, unlike last season, when Fulham had drawn level at St James's Park, it was Newcastle and not their London opponents who went on to claim all 3 points. And what a 3 points that may turn out to be for Eddie Howe's side, who have been inconsistent domestically so far. This was by no means a classic, but with a winning moment such as that, it could be a real confidence booster. So let's go back through the match to see how Newcastle came out on top.
Newcastle started brightly. Both Nick Voltemade and Jacob Murphy struck the post within the first 10 minutes of the match. And it was in the 18th minute that Newcastle went ahead. Jacob Murphy dispossessed Calvin Bassey before running through on goal, with his eventual shot going in off the post. Newcastle were deserving of their lead, but Fulham soon grew into the match and had a number of chances of their own. But Newcastle could have been further ahead by the half-time whistle. Murphy again went clear, but this time Bernd Leno was equal to his effort. Into the second half, and it was Fulham who were on the front foot. And their equaliser came in the 56th minute when Sasa Lukic just about managed to get ahead of Sven Botman on the line to head into an empty net. Fulham's goal triggered Newcastle into a flurry of changes, and it made the difference. Anthony Elanga went close with 10 minutes of normal time left, and Newcastle kept on pressing, and eventually they got their winner. Substitute William Osula drove forward and forced Bernd Leno into a save low down, but ultimately the Fulham goalkeeper was helpless to prevent Bruno Guimarães arriving on the scene to put the ball into the back of the net and send the crowd into raptures.
I just felt that probably the difference today was our subs came on and made a big difference, but also you'd be surprised if they didn't. You look at the quality. Sandro Tonali's coming on, Harvey Barnes, Fabian that we've just spoke about. We had a very strong bench today, and hopefully that can make the difference more often than not for us.
Just on Will Osula again, how impressed have you been with his attitude? Because of course he had a difficult end of the summer where he nearly left the club.
Well, that's why I said that's always the key thing for any player. Looking at the longer term picture, and for me, because Will's still so young, it's the development and the attitude that he needs to bring every day to continue to improve his game, and full compliments to him that he's done that. He's worked tirelessly at his game since he's been here, and I think we're seeing the benefits from that.
Difficult game, as you expect, to come here at St James Park with a team full of motivation after the good win and the good game they played last Tuesday. And the reality that we knew that always the beginning of the games here, they are always very tough, and they put us under pressure, but they are not with the big chances, apart one either from Bruno, not massive chances not big chances for them. The game was more under them on the front foot, but under control from us. And one mistake that we cannot do it, and they punished us in a counter-attack moment when you have to do the basics well, and we didn't. It's a moment that you are being punished by details that they might make always a massive part.
Eddie Howe was certainly keen to acknowledge the attitude and efforts of William Osula, who was so pivotal in Newcastle's winning goal. It had been looking that Newcastle would be leaving with just a point, but Osula's injection of pace caused enough problems to trouble the Fulham defence. No time to rest on this win though, as the Magpies continue their defence of their Carabao Cup crown against Tottenham Hotspur next up in midweek. What they will take into that game is momentum though, after 2 wins in succession now. Newcastle do have a habit of going on winning runs, and they will hope that they are at the start of a new one following this win against Fulham.